But you guys are talking about how the Celtics fans were spoiled. Right now, Coach, you're with a fan base that is starving for a
Yeah, it's
championship.
cool.
And there's so many similarities between that Celtics team and your current Clippers team. After acquiring Paul George and Kawhi
Hmm.
Leonard in one summer, how do you compare your experience, or you know, to with the Celtics, and how it's prepared you for your current squad?
Well, when I came to the Celtics, I think people forget they hadn't won a title in 17 or 18 years.
Right.
So they were in a long drought. And it's funny, when I first came in, the first thing I saw that we had to do was change the culture. You would think this is the Boston Celtics, but when you haven't won in that long, we were all that everybody was still holding on to the past. And I remember coming in, changing a lot of stuff, and Perk, you saw a lot of the changes. I changed the locker room. Like, I was like, we're getting rid of this locker room at the Garden. I didn't want it to see the old locker room anymore. I just thought we needed a facelift. And so the Clippers were very similar. The difference is, in being honest, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be here if the Sterling thing hadn't have happened. As crazy as that sounds, because there was no way we were going to be successful with Sterling as an owner. It just wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to let us. He wasn't going to let us spend the money, which wouldn't have allowed us to be successful. And Steve Ballmer has come in and allowed us to do all the things that we're doing, and that's made a huge difference for us.
Yeah, and this season alone, I mean, obviously we're in such a point of unknown across the board, but you guys were having so much success, title favorites throughout the season. What feeling are you having about not knowing if you're going to be able to complete this season together?
Oh, anxiety. Anxiety is what you're having, like, because you want to, like this wasn't like the 2018 where, I was talking to Eddie House recently, and we were talking about, we knew on day one in training camp, like, you could feel it, you could see it. It was just there. This team's been different, mainly because of the injury stuff. We didn't have Paul George for training camp. We didn't have Kawhi for most of camp and most of preseason. None of preseason for Paul George. He missed the first, 13 games. And what really bothers me right now is because if you look at our last 10 games, that was the Clippers. That was going to be the version of the Clippers. Like, you could finally see it coming together. Paul was starting to get his legs and start, adding Reggie and Marcus. We kind of had the right pieces in place. We had the right rotation starting to come, and you can just feel us about to take off and grow. And then, bam, it was taken away from us. But as I've said before, we talk a bunch. I try to talk to my players, 3 or 4 of them a day. And we have this thing called win the weight. And, I tell them every day, guys, it's going to start back. And we cannot use that it's different or the format, because we don't know what the format's going to be. We just have to be ready when it's time. And that's where you got to trust your players that they're doing the work. So far, they are.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.